Jai Hind children. Today we will be dealing with module 2 of the chapter Land, Soil, Water and Natural Vegetation. In the previous module we had discussed about land, and in the live class we had also discussed about soil. So let us continue. We were basically dealing with how is soil formed. So there are 5 factors which are responsible for the soil formation. The first one is parent rock, the next is climate, relief, flora, fauna and time. So I will be explaining each one in detail. Now the first one, parent rock, it means the color, the parent rock determines the color, the texture and the chemical properties of a particular soil. Like the soil may be deposited by the streams, or weathering would have taken place. So as soil takes a lot of properties from the parent material, from where it is coming, and while it is being formed, it also takes the color, the size of the particles and the chemical properties from the parent soil. The second is climate. The climate also affects the formation of soil. Like if it is very hot and humid, the rate of evaporation is rapid, and that affects the formation of soil. Suppose it rains a lot, water may go down the soil, and the upper soil may lose much of its nutrients. Then if the temperature is also very warm, or then or if it is more, the rate of evaporation changes the type of soil the way it is formed. The third is flora, fauna and microorganisms. We know flora and fauna are animals and plants, and they exist, and they are there as organic matter, and they add the organic matter to the soil. And there is also an addition to the nutrients, so it affects the soil formation. For example, soil which are formed under the trees, they are quite different from the soil which are formed under the grass. So flora fauna also affects the soil formation. The fourth one is topography or relief. Like if a place is at a high altitude, there is a different kind of soil. If it is at a at altitude, it is a different kind of soil. Suppose water is flowing from a high level to a low level, then at the lower level you will find better lowlands, because water is being carried out from the higher level to the lower level, and that affects the soil formation. The next one is time. As we all know that soil takes many years to form, so the young soil which has been formed may have some characteristics which are quite different when they age. That is when the soil ages, and by the time as they age, organic matters are added. They are getting exposed to the outside atmosphere. With time, this soil settles down and they may be buried inside or deeper. So these things, it can happen that one type of soil over a period of time changes into a different type of soil. So these are the 5 factors which are responsible for soil formation. The next, we all know that soil, there is soil degradation, and the factors which are there we have already discussed before. First one is deforestation, and then adding of chemical fertilizers to the soil. Overgrazing is happening. If there are floods happening, then these factors which affect the soil. Then what are the ways to conserve it? If you see this picture, you will be more clear. So the first one is mulching. The second one is contour barriers. This is rock dam. This is terrace farming, intercropping, contour ploughing and shelter belts. I'll be explaining this. It is there given in your book also. Mulching means where the bare ground between the plants is covered with a layer of organic matter. So you can see in the picture, like straw. So this helps to retain the moisture in the soil. The next one is contour barrier. Contour barrier means when the stone, grass or soil is being used to build up barriers. So you can see the second picture. The third one is rock dam, when rocks are piled one upon the another, and which this helps to slow down the flow of water, and thus it prevents soil loss. The next one is terrace farming. We already know about this, that it's created on hill slopes, and water, when it flows, it stays at one place, and then the extra water flows down, and that reduces the surface runoff and the soil erosion. The fourth one is intercropping. Intercropping means different crops are grown in alternate rows, as you can see in the picture, and they are sown at different times, which may prevent soil during the rain wash. Next is contour plowing. Contour plowing means plowing is done parallel to the contours of a hill slope, and they form like a natural barrier, and they prevent the soil flow of the soil during heavy rainfall. And the next one is shelter belts. It is in the coastal and the dry regions. Plants are there are trees and rows of they are planted to check the wind movement, and they prevent the soil cover. This is the way through which soil can be conserved. The next topic is water, one more important natural resource. As we all know, it is a very vital natural resource, and 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered with water. That is why it is also called as blue planet. It is there in the oceans when life began 3.5 billion years ago. We also know that saline water in the ocean is saline and it is not fit for human consumption. Fresh water is only 2.7%, and 70% of the ocean is as ice sheets and glaciers. Only 1% of fresh water we get, which is fit for human use. Fresh water is therefore the most precious substance. In 1975, the consumption of water for human use was 385 cubic, and it soared to 6,000 in 2000. These are the facts. A dripping tap wastes almost 1,200 liters in a year. Water abundance only seems to vary because it is in constant motion. So we all know water cycle. So the water which was used many years back is still being used today. And these are the pictures of all the water resources and a list of the usage of water per person. You can see drinking 3 liters, cooking 4, washing clothes 40 liters per day, and so the total gardening washing utensils is almost 150 liters per person per day. So this is the usage of water, and if this happens on a daily basis in the near times, it is sure that there will be water shortage. Now also it is there, but the condition is getting severe day by day. In the next module, we'll be dealing with another topic of water. Thank you and Jai Hind.